Okay, folks, if everyone would take their places, we're going to go ahead and get started. Council. All right. My quorum is here. Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the City of North Miami Beach's regular City Council meeting of Tuesday, June 2nd, 2015. Madam Clerk, will you please take the roll?
Vice Mayor DeFilippo.
Present.
Councilwoman Kramer. Here. Councilwoman Martell. Councilman Pierre. Councilwoman Smith. Councilwoman Spiegel. I'm here. Mayor Vallejo.
Here.
We have quorum.
Thank you very much. Okay, and if everyone would please rise for a moment for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Our invocation this evening will be given by Pastor Nathan Adams of Fulford United Methodist Church. Pastor Adams.
All right, thank
Welcome.
you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Let's pray. O loving one, here we are yet again as the people of North Miami Beach. Election season is behind us. The lives of those who perished fighting for our freedom and rights have been remembered and honored yet again, and graduations are being celebrated. As our days become lighter earlier and remain so later, we know that summer is just around the corner. May tonight's meeting contribute to making it a summer that is full of joy, laughter, fulfillment, and prosperity for all people who are impacted by the great people, businesses, houses of worship, and other establishments of North Miami Beach. May the decisions, conversations, and recognitions that occur tonight not only positively impact this summer, but many summers to come. Help all of us to remember that that is why we gather tonight, not simply for the immediate future and certainly not solely for our own well-being, but also for the shared future of each of us and all of those that we represent this evening. So give us strength to make sound decisions, help us to disagree with grace, grant us trust that is like a child's, but at the same time that is wise like those beyond any of our years. For indeed we know that as one of us succeeds, we all succeed, and when one of us fails, we all fail. We are North Miami Beach together. May our actions tonight represent this belief. Together, we offer humbly this prayer. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you once again, Pastor Adams. Okay, Madam Clerk, do we have any requests for changes to tonight's agenda?
Mr. Mayor, we will add a presentation of recognition of Lieutenant Miller, and we will pull item 14.2, discussion item by Councilman Pierre in his absence.
Okay, we will remove that, and we're adding the presentation, and so we'll go straight into that one. And this is a great day, and this is really a really special treat and a special day for NMB. I do remember. Seems like 4 years ago we had a similar meeting where we sent off this young man to Colorado Springs, and now he's back as a newly commissioned second lieutenant in the Air Force. So I want to call forward to give us all the details in recognition of John Miller. I'd like to call forward Lieutenant Colonel Willard Shepard, U.S. Air Force, our friend, to come forth and tell us all about this young man.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioner.
Here you are.
Microphone.
I'm not very good with a mic, so I don't know how I'll do with that. City Commissioner and Council, we appreciate you having us tonight, very much so. As you alluded to, time flies. It seemed like just yesterday that John was a student right here at North Miami Beach Senior High School and expressed an interest in the taxpayers investing in him and his education. And I can say at this point, as of last Wednesday, when I commissioned John at the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs, and so you're sitting down, we have now invested $435,000 in his education. So he's received the brightest and the best that this country has to offer. We're all very proud that John has done a tremendous job. Congresswoman Wilson from this district worked diligently with us to be able to go through this process. She's sent a letter sending John regards for his extraordinary accomplishment over the last 4 years and his work and dedication from 4 o'clock in the morning till 11 o'clock at night during that time period, and all of his experiences. And she's been a tremendous supporter of John and this program. So we want to thank all of you for supporting him. John represents all of us and the finest that North Miami Beach has to offer, no matter where he travels, not just within the confines of the United States, but beyond. And we should all be and are very, very proud of him and in the steps that he will take forward representing all of us each and every day. So with that, I want my wife to come up. My wife is always part of this process because she was with the Millers at the very beginning. Lieutenant Miller, come forward. Your parents, Jeffrey, Trish. Megan's taken a lot of pictures and all of those kinds of things. But we want you to come forward, and I'm sure that the mayor and the council members want to express directly to you the gratitude for representing us in the manner and shape and fashion that you have.
Thank you, Colonel Shepard. Okay, if everyone, let's get the council together. And, you know, as I guess as we kind of started talking about it, you know, you're right, time does fly. It seemed like it was yesterday. I remember the event when there was the celebration that you were going away, the going away party. And then that we had you here, and here we are. It's like, it seems like a blink of an eye. And our young high school graduate is now a graduate of the U.S. Air Force Academy and the newest second lieutenant, or one of the newest second lieutenants in the Air Force. And I just got to say that, you know, obviously Lieutenant Colonel Shepard knows this. A lot of people know this. But as a guy that actually tried this route and was not able to get to where you went, I know, and having family members that have gone through the military academy, the amount of sacrifice and the amount of effort and the tremendous, tremendous accomplishment that is, and what it says about you, about your intelligence, about your heart, your character and everything, to be able to go through the Air Force Academy is really a testament to you, and it's also a really good testament to this family that's sitting here. Well, Megan's back over here. Megan, why don't you give the camera to Mark or somebody, and let's come up here. We need you up here. Somebody can sit. There we go. Perfect. Come up. Get sister up here. And you know what? Really, we're really proud, not just because of what you have done and your accomplishments, but we're proud to say that you are an NMB, you know, native, and your whole family, and you guys are an integral part of this community. And this is just a testament to everything in your upbringing and your whole family and to your character. We up here are very proud of you, but not only that, every single resident in the city of North Miami Beach is incredibly proud of you, and we say congratulations. And we're going to issue you this proclamation, okay, today in recognition of Second Lieutenant John Miller. I'm not going to read all the boring parts, okay, but we call for all the citizens, schools, businesses, and media in South Florida to recognize, honor, and show appreciation to Second Lieutenant John Miller for his dedicated service to our nation, and join with his family and friends in celebrating his newly inspired commissioning, presented this second day of June 2015 on behalf of all the residents, proud residents of the city of North Miami Beach. John, I'm sorry, Second Lieutenant Miller, congratulations. And now, remember, 5 minutes to 10 minute speech. Here you go.
All right, well, I don't really have 5 minutes worth of stuff to say. You're probably thankful for that, so just I want to say I'm grateful for everyone's support. My family, Mayor Vallejo's been there the whole way. Colonel Shepard was an integral part of that. I want to thank all you here for being tonight. It's definitely an honor and a privilege, so thank you.
Well, once again, congratulations and thank you. Thank you to the entire Miller family. Thank you guys for being such a great integral part of this city of North Miami Beach. And thank you, John. And good luck in your new career. And stay safe. And you know that home is always here, NMB. Okay, congratulations. Thank you.
I say we make this an annual 4-year update. I'm inviting you back right now, 4 years from now, to bring us up on your career. Looking forward to it.
Let's do a quick photo here. Let's everybody come together.
For sure, for sure, for sure. You might want to give them their camera back. Don't take the people. Beauty and brains. No, I had never seen him in film either.
Okay, one last thing, and again, a couple of quick thank yous. Lieutenant Colonel Shepard, thank you so much for mentoring this young man and guiding him through the process. Congresswoman Wilson, thank you for selecting this young man from City of North Miami Beach to send him off to the Air Force Academy. And finally, Second Lieutenant Miller, once again, congratulations. Thank you. We're very proud of you. Keep in touch. Thank you. Okay. All right, that's our presentation. So let's go ahead and open the floor for public comment. Madam Clerk.
The Mayor and Council of the City of North Miami Beach have opened the meeting for public comment at this time. There is a 3-minute time limit for each speaker during public comment or for testimony during public hearings. Speakers will be called to the podium. Please state your name and address and/or the name and address of the organization in which you are representing. During public hearing items, please speak only on the subject matter that is before council. The Mayor and Council of the City of North Miami Beach recognize the importance of civility. The City of North Miami Beach requests all in attendance to exercise civility towards each other. Our first speaker, Andrea Castro.
Good evening. My name is Andrea Castro, and I am a resident of North Miami Beach. I am here on behalf of myself, let alone my family, and especially my daughter, neighbors, and friends. I am a parent teacher, and I also like to help out with the community itself. And I ask you guys, or Councilman, Mayor, what we can do for our community on North Miami Beach in regards to safety of the streets, because we have an issue with speeders. I know all around we have an issue with that itself, but especially in the neighborhood. I've addressed the issue already to Chief Police. I forgot his name, but I did speak to him. Excuse me? Scott Dennis was probably him, yes. And I would like to ask what we can do to help. I've asked about speed bumps. I'm not really clear on the fact of why we can or cannot. Stop sign, if possible. And I also researched on a website called drivelikeyourkidslivehere.com. and I happened to see in another neighborhood, it was on almost every single house, and it caught my attention, so I decided to research. And it's saying is post a sign, save a life. I am afraid that, my daughter, maybe something will happen in the future. Not only my daughter, but other children who do live in our neighborhood as well. And if you guys know that the sidewalk is only maybe 1.5 feet away from the street, and those cars do go more than 30 miles an hour. And I cannot do it alone. So I would like to ask your help in what we can do to keep our community safe. And also, when I did address to the chief of police, he did mention to the part-time that we have available at this time, no longer full-time, to help keep the tickets. And he did come. He is known by, I do remember his name because it's different, but he does go by the nickname Chino, Officer Chino. And within an hour, he gave about 7 tickets, just alone on my street. And that was pretty impressive. And I was out there along with to support him. I was keeping an eye and, showing that there are kids who hang out and do want to play. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Castro. If you would just do something here, Madam Manager, could you have somebody from the staff if you would get your contact information to the manager so we can stay in touch on that.
Yes.
It's definitely an issue that pops up around the city, and it's something that I know that the administration and the police department is definitely wanting to put more resources on, and I know that that's something that we'll be working with. Okay.
Very well.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Thank
too.
you. Yes. Question, quick.
City manager, walking door to door, there was not one neighborhood that this wasn't their number one thing is the speeders and getting the speed bumps in their neighborhood. So I want people to know Elizabeth was kind enough to research. You go to the website and you download for a speed bump, and you have to fill it out, and it goes to the county because we don't own the streets. But I had a request again this week, and so I think that that's one thing the next meeting that you have, we already addressed that, to speak about the speeders. And I just want them to know it's not something we've been ignoring. But that is very important because every single community has mentioned it, and this week I got a call about Washington Park, Sky Lake, all of them, Eastern Shores.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Let's go ahead.
Allison Roby.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, members of our staff of North Miami Beach, the audience, and people in TV land. My name is Allison Roby. I reside at 2131 Northeast 179th Street. I'm here tonight to say I had a great time this election 2015. We all have to understand that this is just part of the democratic process. You support a candidate, you can only vote for one candidate in one particular seat. What I've seen at this event, especially volunteering at the polls, many of the neighbors, they come together and they're there for a purpose. They're not fighting among each other. And what I think, I'm very proud to be in the city, because even the candidates, they were cordial, and there were times when there was a blip. But all in all, I'm very proud to be a resident of the city. I cannot say enough about the staff, the building department, code enforcement, public works, everyone do their part to make, and the city clerk's office, everyone did their part to make this transition smooth going forward for the next 2 years, for the next election. But I'd like to say that, unfortunately, there's always a little, gray area where we have seen the flyers again for the last 8 years, the flyers. But I would let you know, whoever put out those flyers, the corporation, individual, flyers do not mean a thing in North Miami Beach. You can tell this time there was vicious attacks against various candidates, and I would say it did nothing. It was just maybe water off a duck's back. So again, it's just a process. I would like to tell that corporation, individual, and futures that negative flyers does not do well in North Miami Beach. We want flyers that is informational and encourage people to vote, to bring up the numbers. So I would say in the future, let's not dwell on the negativity, because we have a great staff, we have great government, and that is what we should keep in mind. And my congratulations to Councilwoman Martel, Councilperson Phyllis Smith, Franz Pierre, he is absent. And again, to all the employees and everyone, I have to say, I'm sorry. The neighbors that came out, they were all fabulous. Whether they voted one way or the other, I tell you, it rained. I had a great time in the rain. It shone on the 19th. The sun was blazing.
Time.
But it doesn't matter. We all had a great time, all the supporters. And I thank you very much again. Have a pleasant
Thank you.
evening.
Mubarak Kazan.
She forgot to thank you, Mr. Mayor. I thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Mubarak Azan. I reside at 15564 Northeast 12th Avenue, North Miami Beach, Florida. Camarade Dramjatan, an attorney at law in a newly formed government, pointed out that opposition is needed to provide scrutiny of any government, saying that there are no angels among those who seek political power. We are going to have a lot of non-angels in executive positions, he said, while urging the opposition to be formidable, saying that they can provide extensive and intensive scrutiny. I would very much appreciate that. He added, expose us, scrutinize us. After me saying that, we know that that did not come from North Miami Beach. But what I would like to say is we need to have ourselves open to scrutiny. Not because we scrutinize the mayor and council, we do not like you. We are doing it for our own good. In the past, what I've noticed, mayor and council invite people to come and speak at the podium. After they take a seat, there's a long name calling coming from the mayor and council. They call these people the naysayers, the STPs, the same 10 people. It's horrible. Why do you invite them in the first place to come to speak if you are not going to be opening yourself to transparency and open government? Next thing, civility. I do not think civility should stop here. I think civility should stop and continue in our private lives. You know, we've had an election, and I want to say that, you know, the people that we look up to, some of them failed us. We've had witch hunting. I would ask that the witch hunting be stopped. The elections are over. I've had people coming into my neighborhood. They're inquiring about absentee ballots, who vote for who vote for what. They tell us that dead people voted and all of these things. So we called the elections people. And they said, no, the people that we were talking about did not vote. They do not have that record. So you have people running about the area trying to sensationalize a lot of things. Let it stop. Let the witch hunting stop. And I thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
That was the last speaker, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Public comment is closed. We'll go ahead and move on to we have no appointments, so let's move on to our consent agenda, which is item 8.1, 8.2, 8.3, 8.4, 8.5, 8.6, 8.7,
Move to approve.
8.9, 8.10, 8.11, 8.12 is no, I'm sorry, 13, 8.14, 8.15, and 8.16. Is there a motion to approve consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Okay, moved and seconded on the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Me. Okay. It's 4-1 on the consent agenda. Okay. Let's go ahead and move to City Manager's report. Madam Manager?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Council.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I need to read it.
Sorry. We'll come back in an hour. I'm sorry.
I took a deep breath.
Okay.
All right. 8.1, regular meeting minutes, April 7th, 2015. 8.2, regular meeting minutes, April 21st, 2015. 8.3, resolution 2015-33. A resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami Beach, Florida, approving and accepting an easement from Taurus MS Development Company to be located on Block 8 and a portion of a vacated right-of-way along Northeast 163rd Street, North Miami Beach, Florida, for the construction, operation, and maintenance of water facilities. Resolution 8.4 is resolution number R 2015-37, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami Beach, Florida, authorizing the city manager and the city clerk to execute a voluntary cooperation and operational assistance mutual aid agreement with the County of Miami-Dade, Florida, for the purpose of coordinating law enforcement, planning operations, and mutual aid benefit between the City of North Miami Beach and the County of Miami-Dade, Florida. Resolution R 2015-38, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami Beach, Florida, authorizing the city manager and the city clerk to execute a voluntary cooperation and operational assistance mutual aid agreement with the City of Miami Shores, Florida, for the purpose of coordinating law enforcement, planning operations, and mutual aid benefit between the City of North Miami Beach and the City of Miami Shores, Florida. Resolution R 2015-40, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami Beach, Florida, authorizing the city manager and the city clerk to execute a voluntary cooperation and operational assistance mutual aid agreement with the City of Opa-locka, Florida, for the purpose of coordinating law enforcement, planning operations, and mutual aid benefit between the City of North Miami Beach and the City of Opa-locka, Florida. Resolution number R 2015-41, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami Beach, Florida, retroactively approving and accepting the Miami-Dade County Department of Cultural Affairs Community Grants Program Award for the 2014-2015 EIN 59-6389 in the amount of $3,550 to be used for the North Miami Beach First Annual Community Spring Festival. Resolution 2015-42, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami Beach, Florida, creating a property-assessed clean energy program and joining the Clean Energy Coastal Corridor Program in accordance with Section 163.08 of the Florida statutes, adopting an interlocal agreement pursuant to Section 163.01 of the Florida statutes relating to the corridor, and authorizing the city manager to execute the agreement. Resolution 2015-43, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami Beach approving a class action settlement agreement to resolve the matter of Perry versus City of North Miami Beach, case number 12-20552, CA23, in the amount of $200,000. Resolution number R 2015-44, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami Beach, Florida, authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with the Florida Construction and Engineering, Inc. in the amount of $141,810.74 for ITB number 2015-07, roundabout construction at 180th Drive, Northeast 178th Street. Resolution number 2015-45, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami Beach, Florida, authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with V Engineering and Consulting Corp. in the amount of $606,000 for ITB 2015-05, Corona Del Mar Neighborhood, Force Main Extension, 163rd Street Business District, Sewering Project. Resolution 2015-46, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami Beach, Florida, authorizing the city manager and the city clerk to execute an interlocal agreement with the Miami-Dade County for the purpose of participating in the Miami-Dade County Parking Fines Reimbursement Program. Resolution 2015-47, resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami Beach, Florida, amending state revolving fund loan agreement, DW 130130, with the Florida Department of Environmental Protection for the automated meter reading project to extend the term of completion for the construction and to extend the repayment schedule, and authorizing the city manager to execute amendment number 5. Resolution 2015-48, a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami Beach, Florida, approving and accepting an easement from the North Miami Islamic Center, Inc., NMIC, to be located over and across a portion of Tract A of replat of a portion of Cloverleaf Business District in North Miami, Florida, for the construction, operation, and maintenance of water facilities. Resolution 2015-49, a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami Beach, Florida, approving and accepting an easement from LPLA Partners, LP, to be located over and across a portion of Tract 4, subdivision of Government Lot 6, Section 2, Range 42 East, and Government Lots 1, 2, and 4, and portions of 5 and 6, Section 11, Township 52, Range 42 East, according to the plat thereof, as recorded in Plat Book 10 at page 64 of the Public Records of Miami-Dade County, Florida, in Sunny Isles Beach, Florida, for the construction, operation, and maintenance of water facilities. And finally, Resolution 2015-50, a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami Beach, Florida, approving a budget amendment to transfer an amount of $90,000 from the city manager's contingency account number 010-200-512-995 into the Parks and Recreation Department, Department 7, Division 730, Allen Park, and Athletics Improvements, other than building account number 010-730-572-830 for the fiscal year commencing October 1, 2015. And that's your consent agenda.
Mr. Attorney, I just got a quick question about. Never mind. We'll get you a bottle of water after that. Councilwoman Smith.
I would just like to make a request to the city manager. Thank you for recognizing me, Mr. Mayor, that the energy fund that we have just passed, that you bring a presentation so the public can know what that's all about. I had the opportunity to meet them, and it's a wonderful program, and the public won't be aware.
You mean the Y-Green?
Mhm.
The Y-Green.
The Y-Green.
You know, that's a very good idea, and we'll also make sure that we have a story on the newsletter, so it goes out to all the residents as well.
And I just think that the sooner we do that, I've had a lady that has been calling me weekly, and I kept telling her the program's coming, and now I can tell her it's here. But there are, I'm sure, many people out there that would like to use this program.
You got it.
Thank you. Thank you,
Oh,
Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Councilwoman Spiegel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Madam Manager, this may sound silly, but when I was elected 8 years ago, the automated meter reader project was already started. And when I read through that about extension, can you all promise that this is the last extension and that it will be up and running within the time parameters set forth?
Well, you can rest assured that under this administration, things will be up and running as quickly as possible.
That wasn't what I asked.
Yes.
Thank
yes.
you.
Affirmative.
Thank you.
Actually, we're pretty far along on this thing, right? I don't want to get onto a sidetrack on that, but
We are pretty far along.
yeah, because I know I got it, and I figured I was going to be one of the last ones. So, all right.
I'll be happy to give a quick update if
Like
you
a-
like. Okay.
Like a percentage? Can you just get it as a percentage? Are we like 50%, 75?
We are
80?
more than 50% completed with the swapping out of more than 30,000 meters, and we're storming and sprinting our way toward the finish line, 90 days or something like
Wow,
that.
that's
Yeah, we're
awesome.
real close.
Maybe we could, if you want, you could just give us that in an email to all of us and with the details. That'd be great.
And we are on schedule, almost precisely on schedule with our expected completion date.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, Madam Manager, I know you have a few items, the CAFR presentation, et cetera, so
Yes.
let me turn it over to you.
Yes, this presentation really is about the rubber hitting the road. This CAFR represent my first year of your manager, as your manager, my first year working with this great administration. As you can see by the presentations that we had earlier today and the awards that were presented to procurement and the initiatives that you've been seeing with police and other initiatives that you'll be seeing later with Public Works, this is something that is very, very important to me, to the outstanding finance director that we have in place, Barbara Trinka, our deputy finance director that's here, Marcia Fennel, and our budget manager that's here with us, Raquel, and this great team of auditors. So with that said, I'd like to turn it over to the Sharpton Group to present the 2014 audit.
Thank you, City Manager.
Welcome, guys.
My name is Kevin Adderley. I'm the audit director for the Sharpton Group. Do I need to get my address?
No, your address is really not relevant.
I'm here.
Unless you want us to come over after.
Yeah, you're always welcome. I'm here tonight to give you a brief overview of the results of the audit of the financial statements and compliance audits for the fiscal year ended September 30th, 2014. I believe you have in your packets a comprehensive annual financial report, which is a pretty large document. Also, you should have a PowerPoint presentation in which I'm going to speak from for the most part, and you should also have, I think it's about a 15-page document, which is the report to the council, which basically discusses our responsibilities, and you do not have that. You don't have that?
It's in the agenda.
It's in the agenda.
It's in the agenda.
Okay, it's in the agenda item. So, in the PowerPoint, the second slide, the scope of our examination is we performed our audit pursuant to duly accepted auditing standards and government auditing standards. During the course of our audit, we reviewed the cash receipts, cash disbursements, payroll processing, and the internal controls with respect to those transaction cycles. We've also performed certain audit procedures pursuant to the rules of the Florida Auditor General, and we've also performed a federal and state single audit.
Mr. Adderley, I'm sorry. Are we okay? Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay. We performed a review of the compliance testing for federal major programs, being the federally funded Equitable Sharing Program, which has a catalog of federal domestic assistance number of 16.922. Total federal expenditures for that program is $1.4 million, and the capitalization grants for clean water, CFDA number 66468, $2 million in expenditures. Total federal expenditures for the fiscal year of 2014 was $6.7 million. The state major projects tested was the wastewater treatment facility construction grant, catalog of state financial assistance, 37.077. The total state expenditures should be stated on your PowerPoint as $1.7 million. The $893,000, I apologize, is a mistake. On the next slide, we talk about the results of the audit. Results of the audit is that we've issued an unmodified opinion on the financial statements. Unmodified meaning that the financial statements and the related notes were found to be in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. It's a clean opinion, as well as the Office of Management and Budget Circular A133 compliance report. We issue a unmodified opinion with respect to those requirements, as well as the requirements of the state single audit. Again, unmodified meaning that there were no matters of non-compliance noted per the compliance test work that we performed. There were no question costs identified either. We've talked about the internal control system for which we perform audit procedures of. Later on, in a couple of slides back, we're talking about a couple of observations for which management is in the process of addressing. On the fourth slide is a graphic of your statement of financial position. This particular slide gives a snapshot of your financial condition as of September 30th, 2014. And as you can see there, in the first column there are the assets. Assets are comprised principally of like capital assets, which were about $275 million. Also included in the assets are cash of about $61 million, receivables $17 million. There's about a 5% increase in the assets over the previous year, and the 5-year trend shows about 3% increase. For your liabilities, those are principally notes and bonds payables and some vendor payables. There's about a 1% increase there and a 10% decrease over the 5-year period going back to 2010. The net position is the equivalent of your equity. The net position are comprised of about $128 million of your net investment in capital assets. The unrestricted amounts related to your net position is about $48 million. And as you can see there, you got about an 8% increase over the previous year, and the 5-year trend shows an increase of about 7%. And those increases are principally attributable to your investment in capital assets, construction of building facilities, and acquisition of vehicles and other fixed assets. On slide 5, is there a question?
I was just looking at, on your chart there, previous slide. Since you have the current year first and then going backwards, it kind of reads backwards. You've got our assets are actually going up, but if you just look left to right, they kind of look like they're going down, but it's just that they're the other way.
Right.
You guys have them in reverse order, I guess. There, so.
Well, actually, the way they're presented this way, because if you look through the CAFR, generally your most recent year is reported, and then your later years follow.
Got it.
But we could change that in the future if you desire. Slide 5 gives an overview of the revenues. You have charges for services of $51.2 million. That's about a 2% decrease over the previous year. Property taxes, $12.8 million. That's about a 4% increase. Utility taxes, $3.1 million. That's an 8% increase over the previous year. Franchise fees, $2 million, about a 9% increase over the previous year. Total revenue is 2% over the previous year. Slide 6 gives a composition of the different expenditures. General government, $10.7 million. That's about a 3% decrease over the previous year. Public safety at $22.2 million is a 3% decrease over the previous year. Parks and recreation, $4.7 million, about a 5% increase. Water at $21 million is about a 21% decrease. Solid waste is about a 6% increase. Total expenditures, a decrease of 3% over the prior fiscal year. Slide 7 gives a visual of the taxable property value of the city for the last 5 years. You see 2014, you're at $1.7 billion versus $1,741 million for 2014 versus $1,738 million for 2013. Slide 8. The internal control comments noted in the previous year was the timeliness of submitting certain reports to grantor agencies. There were no similar finding noted of that nature. For the other 2 items with respect to accounts receivable management and upgrade of the accounting system, it is noted that the city is in the process of implementing an ERP system that should make these comments go away. Slide number 9. The Florida Auditor General requires the external auditors to perform certain financial condition assessment procedures. There's 21 different financial indicators that is a part of that procedure. And the procedures measure how the city is doing over a 5-year trend, as well as there's a benchmarking or comparison of your financial indicators to other cities, and there's 92 municipalities which are included in that group. And within that group, it is municipalities that have a governmental and a proprietary funds and taxable property values of $500 million to $2 billion. The city of North Miami Beach is 5th in population amongst those 92 municipalities, is 17th in property value and 20th in millage rate. The results of those financial conditional assessments, there were no indications that the city is in a financial emergency, which is the purpose of conducting those procedures. The last slide shows that the city had 14 of the financial indicators were favorable, 11 were inconclusive, and there was 1 that was unfavorable. For the unfavorable financial indicator, that was the one that was for the proprietary fund, which the ratio of accumulated depreciation to capital assets, an increasing ratio of that nature may be indicative of a delay in capital asset replacements, or you have to be aware of your maintenance costs going on the uprise as your capital assets wear and tear.
Which fund was it again?
The proprietary fund. Well, actually, it measures it in.
Oh, they're all together?
Proprietary fund is your water operation, sewer operation, stormwater operation, solid waste.
So for this purpose, they lumped them all together, in other words?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yes. And with that, be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Well, my first question would be, I guess, really more for management, I guess, that one unfavorable, if we can unspin that and figure out where that, which one of the funds is the one that's the contributor to that, right. since they're all lumped together,
Right.
To identify that. Any questions, sir?
No, I agree. Well, I mean, I've seen for a number of other municipalities where generally there are like 10 unfavorable and fewer unfavorable. So, fewer favorable. So the city of North Miami Beach is actually a shining star amongst a number of the municipalities of it, which are similar in size.
Right.
Can you say that again? What?
A shining star.
She didn't hear it. What was that?
City of North Miami Beach is a shining star amongst likable municipalities.
But so really, when that particular slide, that's really more of a benchmarking against the other cities of our size. I mean, it's not like that. That's not like it would be something that is a qualified opinion or not a clean opinion, right?
No.
This is strictly lining everybody up in our size in order, and where do we sit?
Right.
Where do we stand in
right.
the line?
And it's really to identify those municipalities that might be in a financial emergency or might be showing that they're headed for a financial emergency. And the city of North Miami Beach, you have a strong, balance sheet. You have a strong, unrestricted fund balance as it relates to your general fund. So things look good.
Okay. And by the way, that 92 similarly situated, that's out of Florida? Or is that?
Yeah, no, the state of Florida.
Wow. I'm surprised there are 92 that fit in that slot there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this information is out on the website on the Florida Auditor General, and I'd be happy to provide it to you if anyone has an interest in it as well.
Well, I don't know if anyone else has any questions, but I just want to say thank you to you guys. I mean, I know that for months you guys have been holed up in that room over there like 22 hours a day going through this, so we certainly appreciate it, and I'm certainly pleased to hear the words clean opinion, and that that our fund balances, meaning our reserves and our financial strength is basically improving, again going in the right direction. So
yes,
very happy to hear that.
Yes.
Anyone else?
Well, we the Sharpton Group, we would like to thank you, Mr. Mayor, and members of the council, as well as the city manager and her staff for the opportunity. It's been a good experience for our team.
Well, we are very happy with the Sharpton group. Please pass it along to Mr. Sharpton and everybody else in your organization. And thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now you can go home and actually spend some time at home.
Mr. Mayor and Council, I wanted to bring up our finance director, Barbara Trinka, and her team is here, Marcia and Raquel are here. But I want to preface this small dialogue before I turn it over to her, that not only has Ms. Trinka and her team been dealing with the 2014 audit, but she's been dealing with the 2015 budget assessment and the commencement of the 26 budget preparation. But more than that, Ms. Trinka is playing a key role in the ERP process. So there's been nights when it's 11 o'clock at night, and this lady right here, the light is on in Barbara Trinka's office. I will take that from Mr. Singer's office. But this is the work that's being put here, and how seriously her and her department is, and the rest of the department directors, and how much we take pride in what we do. So sometimes when we may be a little bit over passionate or we may react is because we are going above and beyond to serve you and to serve the residents of North Miami Beach. So I just wanted to let you know that.
So wait a second. So what you're telling me is that she still has another 1 hour more in the day to take on another project than what you're telling me, right?
At
Okay.
least until midnight.
Thank you.
But Director Trinka?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the introduction. And good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, City Attorney, City Manager's Office. Thank you so much. I would say when individuals ask me, so what are you up to these days? And the list doesn't stop going. We have a new budget that's kicking off. And since I started in this new position, we literally started and finished an audit. We issued a CAFR. We kicked off a whole new budget season. We have developed and making sure we're aligning with our strategic plan in terms of the financial condition. And as part of one of those things I wanted to do was introduce an executive summary, because it's a lot of information. The CAFR is very thick, and the two key components of the CAFR include the transmittal letter and the MD&A, which I highly recommend that you read. But with that, we also want to be able to step back and have a big picture. So I'm going to present to you an executive summary of the financial condition. Maybe if you could. So with this evening, the executive summary is going to cover not only the audit results, but it's also going to cover where we are in our 2015 preliminary assessment of our property values, and it is also going to address the financial results of the first 2 quarters. Okay.
We just got our assessment
Yes.
yesterday, so we were waiting to get that piece of information to include it in your report.
Exactly. And the purpose of this report is not to take away from the CAFR or the other quarterly reports. It's to be able to provide you kind of a guiding post of where we at and our current financial condition. So with that, I think it's very important to highlight from the audit, and I thank the Sharpton Group extremely, but I really want to emphasize some of the key things of the results of the audit. One, we did not have any new audit findings, and that's very important. That means that our internal controls are on target, and the control issues that we've already identified, we have been adamantly working towards resolving, and that was going to be with the implementation of ERP system. We're currently on track to go live on October 1st of this year. So we have a lot of things going on, right? And so also with that, there were no audit proposed entries. One of the reasons that is we as a staff, myself, my entire group, we went through line item by line item, reviewing, analyzing, and making sure that not just our revenue and expenditures, that our balances are right. So with that, we actually proposed several entries to enhance the financial clarity of our reports, okay? So with that, we had no audit proposed entries. However, we issued and recommended many, Another very, very important is that there were no material weaknesses identified. The audit is not intended to capture every possible avenue, but it is intended to capture material weaknesses, and none were identified. That's very, very important. And I think that really covers the gist of the compliance with the audit, right? In terms of the financial results, we see an absolute positive uptick on our assets, or assets overall. Our liabilities also did overall increase, but not as significantly as our assets did. And that is very important. And part of that reason is our ability to control our expenditures. It really is. To enhance revenues and control expenditures, what we're doing is we're building our assets, we're building our fund balance in order to plan our future. Okay? And I'm not going to go over the details of that. Also, too, in terms of the overall financial assessment, we do use the Auditor General's Office 29 indicators, and they really should be used as a whole. So I generally don't like to bring out one issue or, versus the other. You really need to look at the overall picture and get a result. From that result, the one unfavorable, though, is worth mentioning. And really what it's saying is that we are not replacing our capital assets as quickly as they're depreciating. And why that's important is to ensure that our strategic plan, our objectives, all of our goals, that we continue on the path of investing in our future. All right, with that, I'm going to move into the 2015 highlights. We did provide the first quarter and the second quarter financial results. What I would like to do is really focus on the second quarter results because it's year-to-date. It's the most up-to-date information. And also, too, we'll go into explaining there is definitely estimates. There's definitely assumptions built into the results. And I want to make sure we're very clear about that and how those might change the results by year end. So the first part of the presentation essentially tells you how did we develop these numbers, okay? The most important thing to understand is it's a cash basis. That means you will not see an expenditure on this report generally unless a physical check is cut, meaning we paid a vendor, we paid a contractor. So what happens, and that's why it's very important to take big picture perspective of our financial results, is to say sometimes those payments lag. So we say 6 months ended our results, but however, it's very important, unless we physically paid a vendor, we physically paid that contractor, you're not going to see those results. However, you're going to see your budget and your expenditures, and sometimes your expenditures might be less than your budget, but a lot of that has to do with timing of expenditures, okay? Now, with also that said, the result is we have a positive $14.8 million variance. That means that if we were to land the year right now, we would have $14.8 million. I do not expect the year end to result that way. There's yes.
But even though we haven't cut a check, but the money's due, so when you see a positive of 14 million, is there also some place that tells us outstanding that we still owe so we can get an idea of what the number, the actual number would be?
Well, there's different ways to present the financial information. One of them is to include encumbrances. One of the reasons we do not include encumbrances is because funds can be encumbered but not spent. So what happens is you would have a department, and let's say they plan on having a particular expenditure, but through their own cost-saving efforts, through their own abilities, they'll be able to save in a particular account. When you include encumbrances, you're going to be missing that piece.
But that would be, in my mind, a possibility that you thought you were going to owe 16,000, but the department got it down to 15,000 and saved 1,000. But aren't there some that are given definites that are due monthly or due quarterly?
You're absolutely right. And we have accounted for some of those. Not necessarily encumbrances. Let's say, for example, debt service. We're required to have the debt service. So those expenditures are included in the timing of the budget. So you will also see that, okay? Another big component driving this is also a use of estimates for our ad valorem revenue. What we have done is, because ad valorem is really, there's a financial benefit for paying early, so we look at our historic, how much have we collected as of a point in time? And so we estimate, compared to our past, what we've collected. And what we have found this year is that we have collected more earlier on than we have in previous fiscal years. That's very important. So maybe not necessarily the end result, but that in itself is an indicator that we are collecting our ad valorem sooner than we have in the past. And that's a clear indication of a positive financial position.
Right.
All right? So let's get into a few details, because I think it's important as well. We kind of covered some of the methodology. Overall, again, the estimate positive net position is 14.8 million as compared to the budget. And again, we expect that the year-end financial results will be significantly different, but we do not anticipate exceeding budget. Okay. All right, so the primary contributors of that are going to be your largest funds, the ones that are capital intensive. So that's going to be primarily your enterprise. The water fund variance had a positive 6.3 million of the 14 million. And it's important to note that the general fund 2.9 million positive variance is primarily due to the collection, the early collection of ad valorem taxes. Okay? And that's basically the overview of the financials.
Go back to something that you said about 30 seconds earlier. I thought as a government that we could not exceed our budget. We can't go into debt. So when you say that you don't anticipate exceeding the budget, is that something that, for whatever reason, gave you some concern at some point?
Our measurement is always to our budget. And there are times where cities will go over their budget. What they'll do is they'll come before council and they'll request a budget amendment, unplanned expenditures, hurricanes, all of these other things that these events may potentially lead to exceeding your budget. So yes, there often cities do exceed their budgets, and they will come before their council and have those approved. But based on our current financial condition, we believe strongly that we will be on target. Okay. All right. She okay? We're on page 7. If you're interested. Essentially, the quarterly financials are presented. You have your budget to actuals revenue on one slide for your governmental funds. The next slide is showing expenditures, and then the third slide is showing the net. So if you could please go to page 9, which this is the governmental funds. You'll see overall the net positive variance was like almost 3.4 million. And again, you will see that the general fund is the largest contributor. In terms of our enterprise funds, if you would, go to page 12. We can also see that the enterprise is the largest contributor to the increase in the positive variance of 11.5 million. And again, the water fund, our largest, what I would say capital intensive fund, is the primary contributor. All right. There are many, many more slides, and I will leave it at this point to if you have any questions, if there's anything else you want to cover. But I really wanted to get big picture and be able to present to you the information. And obviously, if you have any questions, I'm always here to answer. And really, this is just the first step in our financial future.
Thank you, Mrs. Trinka. Director Trinka, and let me see if there are any questions from anybody. No? Okay. Thank you.
I just asked if you guys have the time to really go through this CAFR, or at least the key components, Director Trinka.
Yes, the transmittal and the MD&A. Those would be the key components of the CAFR, and it gives you a perspective where the city's at, where the city's going, and the overall results.
Madam Manager, I'm going to go through that, and I may have questions, so
Absolutely.
I'll probably be seeing you this week. Okay?
You know, our biggest goal that we had, we came in at the latter part of 2013. The budget was pretty much done. The previous administration had to dip into reserves, you know, for $2.9 million to be able to balance the budget. And we had a goal to take, you know, the next 2 years and recover from that. But we were able to recover from that basically in one fiscal year and still be able to deliver the services and the programs and the initiatives that you've seen citywide, and with really controlling our expenditures, going out for grants. And I attribute that to the great work of all the department directors that are here today, with the leadership of our finance director, and basically holding myself and everybody accountable in this team.
Thank you, Madam Manager. You have an update from
Yes,
Director Scott?
Public Works Director Esmond Scott.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Respectfully, Manager, I'm asking if we could just go out of order. There are 2 vendors over here
Of course.
that we would like to recognize for their participation in our Arbor Day 2015. And Councilwoman Barbara Kramer was the liaison for the Beautification Committee. Maybe we'll just award them these 2 certificates.
Good evening, everybody. On behalf of the Beautification Committee, we would like to give special thanks and recognition to some of the people that contributed to this wonderful renovation of Dolphin Park. Mr. Steve Landis, People's Choice Pressure Cleaning. He pressure cleaned for free, and we love free. And we really, really do appreciate it. If you would come up and please accept this. Really, thank you so much for being a part of our city and helping us out, because we really,
Thank you so
although
much.
it doesn't
Thank you.
seem with this
Thank
great
you.
budget
Thank
and
you.
CAFR report that we need anything.
We do. We always
But
need
we
it.
always do. And also, we'd like to give special thanks to Sheldon Mullings from Mullings Engineering. He donated 6 pallets of sod. Wonderful. Would you like to come? Oh, come, let's take a picture. Would you like to come up as well? Come on. Come. What's
I think they should give a speech for 3 minutes apiece, too.
There
No,
you
just kidding.
go.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
You know, we really do appreciate everything that
There comes our baton.
yeah. Oh, would you like to give a speech? Oh, no? Okay. We really, really appreciate everything. Thank you.
All right, Kelly.
Thank you very much again for your contribution. Much appreciated.
We want to make sure that we don't confuse the part that we're always striving to be better in our financial position. That's not going to prevent us from seeking grants and seeking partnerships, because we're definitely not too proud to beg, because there's still a lot of infrastructure and things that we need to get done in our city. So with that said, I want to turn it over to Esmond to just go over some of the projects that are in play, that we've completed, that are in completion mode, and if you could just give us an update so our mayor and council and our residents watching can be updated.
Great. Good evening, everyone. I wanted to have thank you, manager, for allowing me the opportunity to speak about some of the projects that we're doing, because some are very obvious, some are not obvious. There are others. I usually say with public works, we're so open, because it's not like the utilities where a pipe is underneath and you just can't see it. Public works, every little bit of paper that's on the ground, you could see it. And when we are wrong, or when things go wrong, it's very, very obvious. I've also brought out the A-team with me tonight. Not you, Paulette, but I brought out the Public Works A-team. I don't know if you're all familiar with them, but I'd like to introduce Kevin Butts, who is our safety officer. I have Fernando Rodriguez, who is the assistant director. And Van Harrington, who is our operations manager. I have a PowerPoint presentation. I'm sorry. Yes. The thing with Van, he'll feature a lot in this presentation because he loves to operate machinery. And also Abdias Sainz. That's Abdias Saenz. Abdias is our new CIP manager. He has been here probably about 2 months now. Abdias was baptized with 2 big projects, one of them being the pool, which we'll talk about later on. He has several other projects with which he's working on with Director Murphy for the bond project. So I'll just take you a little bit through these slides. With Public Works, it's all visual. Not all, but a lot of it is visual. So I took the time out just so I could show you slides so you could get a feeling for some of the things that we have been doing and what we've accomplished. It's going to be awkward. Okay, one of the biggest motivators for us is the strategic planning. And the goal for the strategic planning, as it relates specifically, I mean, it says Public Works all over it, is that North Miami Beach is a place to live where it is beautiful, safe, and livable. And everything that we do, we tie to the goals of the strategic plan, and we look forward and we do measuring against these this goal. Our approach is simply that. Anything that is said is impossible, I love to make it possible. And my team has a way of saying that I work hard and I'm always at the last minute trying to get things done. But that's the nature of Esmond Scott. I don't think that everything is impossible. There's always a way to work out things. And I delight in the challenges that come and that give me opportunity to do that. Okay, we have embarked on a mission to do Arbor Day a little different than we have done it in the past. We are now doing something creative. Rather than putting a tree here and a tree there, We're trying to rehab those parks that are not as prominent and trying just to put some dollars in them through donations, as you can see, through partnerships. And the beautification committee really guides us in that process. And it's almost like when we're getting ready for Arbor Day, it's okay, next. And we looked at Jose Sauls Park about a year ago and decided that that would be the first of the parks that we'd look at. When we decided on that, these were some of the clips of Jose Sauls Park. That's one of them, a lean sign, parched grass, looking dry. There was this big tree. It's a guanga tree, Carlos? Yes, thank you. It's a guanga tree. It's a huge ficus tree that looks like a guanga tree. And when we decided, however, that it was so beautiful that the focus of that park should be around this ficus tree. So we started to, Van Harrington started to just to do some of the landscaping around there, just some of the leveling, moving away of sod. And we cleared the path, as we usually do, just to make sure that we have a clean canvas. And we proceeded to work on Jose Sauls Park. Yes, Councilman.
I wanted you to give us the address of the park.
Jose Sauls Park is on Miami Drive and 159th Street on the south. That intersection is towards the north. We coincided with Miami Drive, where we're doing a big project with planting some royal palms.
Beautiful.
And on the day when we opened up, when we did Arbor Day, we also unveiled. You remember we cut the ribbon on Miami Drive for what we had planted there, and this is what the park ended up looking like at the time. We have since added benches to the park, and we did that with some reluctance. We figured that we would have gotten some feedback that was not positive, but everything that I've heard from neighbors have been positive about these benches. And you can pass that park any day during the day, anytime during the day, and not see someone sitting on those benches, enjoying and relaxing the beauty of that park. Then there was Dolphin Park. This Arbor Day, we just did Dolphin Park. This is what Dolphin Park looked like before. There's a fence around it that we thought made no sense. And I must first say that in addition to the beautification committee, we worked very good with Carlos and also with Paulette. Paulette Murphy, Director of Parks and Rec, and also with Carlos Rivera, our city forester / urban planner.
Jack of all trades.
We had a concrete path coming through this that we all thought made no sense. It didn't go anywhere. Didn't provide anything to the park. It just took away from green space. And that was the Dolphin Park sign. And that's how it looked from afar when you approach the park. We got together and we decided that Dolphin Park needed a little bit more pep. And we added some sculptures of dolphin, after all, the Dolphin Park. In the previous picture you saw, there were some plastic dinosaurs, but it wasn't called Plastic Dinosaurs Park, so we put some dolphins in there. Along with Ms. Murphy added that shade structure there. We added another bench that was just a flat piece of concrete. This is probably not the best picture, but if you look closely, we have butterflies there because on a Saturday before we opened the park, Carlos and Ms. Murphy, they got out to the park along with the neighboring kids, planted a butterfly garden, and those kids have engaged themselves, they've owned it, and they're going to be caring for that butterfly garden going forward. There were a lot of butterflies. Sheldon Mullings just left. He loves the park. I mean, these two guys who just donated, they're taking pictures of the park each time they're there and sending it to me. Have you seen this? Have you seen this? Yes, we've seen it. Nice butterflies. And we had Arbor Day there that day, and we planted I hear we're doing the ceremonial tamarind tree, and that's what Dolphin Parks looks like right now.
What a difference.
Night and day, guys.
I'll tell you as well. What we have done is that in those two areas that we've done parks, we have also sodded the surrounding areas because some of those areas are not looking very nice, and there are folks who are parking on the swale, but we have donated sod to these folks, and we have really charged them with water in the grass and not parking on there. Tell you what, all of them have been upheld because those neighbors are indeed watering the swales, and they're looking beautiful. It's a great anchors in the four parts.
Beautiful.
So, I mean, when it comes to this park, the International Flowering Tree Garden, which is now the DeRose Park, I feel almost like a kid at Christmas. You know, I was the eldest of 5 children, and sometimes my mom would confide in me what the others were getting. And, you know, I couldn't wait to tell them what they were getting. I mean, I was just itching because I knew what they were getting for Christmas. The manager, when she came in, spoke with me about this park. Once the resolution was passed and we decided we were going to name it the Philippe DeRose Park, she asked me to take over this project. And I know that the timing of this had to be perfect. It had to have its own month, its own timing for this park to go forward. I remember being in Brooklyn one Sunday making porridge for my daughter. I had to put in the details, that's how I am. So I'm making porridge for my daughter, and I get a call, and it's from Councilman DeRose, and he says, Scott, I'm going to Haiti tomorrow. Where are you? I need to meet with you. So I flew back from New York, and I met with him, and we went through the park, and we walked. And his simple thing was that Edna Moffat has a wall. Why can't I have a wall as well? So we walked the park. I spoke with the manager. That was Abdias's first project. And we got together. We started building that wall. Here it is. We're using staff to help with the sub base. And the wall started to take form. We also added some components to that park that had never existed before. Earlier for the budget for fiscal year 15, we decided that we were going to put recycle bins in the budget, and we bought recycle bins. We have placed recycle bins as well as trash bins in that park, and also we have placed park benches in there. This is a matter of moving a resource from one area where it's not well used to another. And so we didn't go out and buy this park bench. It was just in another area, and we yanked it from there and put it there. And if you were to zoom in, you'll see that there's a lady sitting here resting her legs with her bag of groceries. And that's
It's
the
beautiful.
wall.
Beautiful. Quite a feat, too, because it really went up almost overnight.
Oh, well, it's by design.
We spent the night at the park.
Councilman DeRose called me I think it was on the Friday evening. He says, Scott, you think we're still going to make it? I said, yes, we are.
I got calls at home that it's never going to be ready.
Oh, okay.
I got calls that you did a fabulous job.
Thank you.
You did do a fabulous job. It's fabulous.
The team. Here is Snake Creek Canal. I think this is one of the beauties in our city now, where it's well utilized, but it didn't always look this way. I remember I'd get stuff on a weekend, and I would go out or send the guys out to look for a mysterious TV that was in that water. And we couldn't find that TV. But the thing is that because it used to be a dumping ground, there was no pride in this park, and it was just accumulating stuff as you're seeing in this picture, and also in this. That's how it looked. We got with the South Florida Water Management District. We spoke with them about what we were seeing. We asked them whether or not they could put a little bit more frequency to the cleaning of the canal. Interestingly enough, how that all came about was that I was at the Coral Reef Park in Palmetto Bay, and I was surprised to see the way that that park looked. It looked immaculate, and I said, my gosh, who do they have mowing their banks? So I called up the Public Works Director, and she said, the district does. And we just mow the bank, and they clean it, and it's looking so pristine and nice. So I said, hey, give me his name. And so I dropped her name to the guy's name that she had given me and said, you're doing that for them. I want you to do this for us. Anyway, we got with them, and they came out, and as you will see, these are some other shots as to how badly it was kept at the time. But the district came out, and we went on a boat tour up and down so that they could educate me. They had already educated Carlos because they were just talking about Carlos while I was on the trip. And we talked a lot about what our responsibilities were, what theirs are, and then we got together and they started to do the cleaning of this canal. There they are with a little boat, a dredge of sorts over here, and they collected 26 tons in that pass-through.
Wow.
And I met with the staff one Friday morning. I took pictures of the Palmetto Bay things that I was seeing, and then I took a picture of all that stuff, including more that we just looked at. And I said to them, guys, at 7 o'clock in the morning, I said, tell me, which do you prefer? And I showed them the pictures on big legal size, not legal, but tabloid size. And so, you know, it really popped. And they said, wow. We took a walk around the Snake Creek Canal, and they realized they were in. They realized that something had to be done. And so here they are, working. I'll tell you something. The first quote we got, the lowest quote we got for doing these banks just to bring them to anywhere looking good was almost $50,000. Wow. I'll be proud to tell you we didn't spend a fraction of that in the time, either through creatively, Councilman Spiegel, using people on a Wednesday after they were finished washing their trucks to go out there and put in their 40 hours to get something done. And just some other creative ways in getting this done without having to spend the $50,000 to clean the bank. So we're real proud of that, and so are the guys, because they've really, really bought into this and they've claimed ownership. This is Snake Creek Canal today. People are biking. People are doing the Heart Health Walk. We have nice fowls, ducks. And you have kids, and we have creative bike racks that look like fish. Wanted to touch a little bit on West Dixie Highway and Northeast 172nd Street. When you know, they talk about slow news days. In government, we've got slow days, okay? I'm sorry, guys, I just sold you out. We've got slow days in government. And usually when it's around the time of a holiday, things really get slow. But that's when we do our best work, because that's when we have time to concentrate on the things we want to concentrate with. Well, this one was not in my plans. I got this call on a Thursday evening before April 3rd, I think. That was Good Friday. And I decided, I called Van Harrington. I said, Van, it's a slow news day. What are we going to do here? Well, we got out. I'll tell you something. It was so disgraceful because back there you had folks. It was a dumping ground for contractors. You had someone who resided back there, and Van displaced him.
They weren't home at the time, I'm sure.
They weren't home at the time. Came back to see being displaced. And this is what it looked like. And after we were done with one piece of equipment and
That's marvelous.
And 3 people. This is what it looked like at the end of the day. I got several calls. One of them that I liked most was one that said, "Thank you, Esmond, for the cleanup." It came from a resident. Little things like this make huge difference. Lesson from today, little hinges can swing big doors. And based upon that text that I got, I stamped it as an approved project.
It looks great. I haven't seen that in 20 years. Like that no more.
This is East Drive in Ulita that we did a lot of work with. It really, really looked bad, and the neighbors called us to come out just to do some things there. This is another shot of it, of the cleanup. And this is what it looked like before, just a portion of it. But we took out all the underbrush and made it look nice. Let me speed this up a little bit. State Road 826 west of Biscayne Boulevard. You know that's where we started all the effort with the removal of all of that on the medians and planting of the trees. This is what it looked like before. You're all familiar with that. This is all the crap that we found once we went in. We carted out 27 trucks of
That was a technical term.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. And this is, we cleared it again just to have a clean canopy so we could do things. And this is what one section looks like, as you're aware. And we, at the westernmost tip, we've started to plant some date palms here and some medjool, and this is what it looks like tied. And this morning they started unveiling them.
That is fantastic.
So we're proud of that. State Road 826 east of Biscayne Boulevard. Again, we had the same problem where things just looked real bad. We went in, we on a Saturday and also a Sunday, we got some things done, cleaned the landscape, and we're envisioning that it could look like this, or it could look like this. We're anticipating that within the next 4 to 5 days, we'll be moving forward with getting things done in that section. Hey, I've titled this thing Here and There. I'll be finished soon. Sometimes we're out there. We're not on a particular project, but we see things and we want to deal with them. So here it is. This is Northeast 15th Avenue and 171st Street. And this is how it looked for the longest time. Until actually I went on vacation and Fernando took it over, and it looks like this now. We have that little area by 171 Street and 19th Avenue that looked like this for the longest time, only because it never had any irrigation in there. So we got irrigation in there, and we put some peanuts in there, and it looks like that now. No.
It looks like that.
It's just beautiful. Biscayne Boulevard, we're envisioning that it could look like that. As you know, we have a master plan going, and we're going to get ready to talk about that. The crosswalk that we have talked about for the longest time, and this is real serious for us because each day we're passing back and forth going across and running and dodging cars. I am very, very pleased to say that we are moving good with this project. That's the base that went in today. And we're envisioning that we have the hardware already in, and we think within the next week we'll have those flashes up, and we'll be very, very happy that this project is it's all done. It will make for a safer, livable community as we're striving for. We have all seen the picture on the Washington Park and Ulita pools. We've all seen the intrusion of water. We have all seen things that just talk to how we neglected things, how we did not maintain, how we didn't do any preventive maintenance on certain things. I'm proud to say that those two projects are moving along well, and our children will be swimming before month's end in the pools at Ulita and Washington Park. I call this the case of the abandoned houseboat. And the chief will tell you this houseboat was there. It was unsafe because people were squatting in it. It wasn't properly anchored. It was really floating away. In fact, after a while it moved and could have caused some issues there. We'd gotten a lot of calls from folks who lived across from Maw Lake that this was there. Well, we brought out the team, and we put machinery to it, and at the end of the day, that's what the houseboat looked like. We had gotten a quote for $20,000 to move that houseboat, and when we were all done, it was well below $3,000 with moving the houseboat. I'm talking about dumping of equipment and everything else.
Through the mayor. Did we ever find out whose houseboat that was, and did we ever recover the cost of moving it?
The chief would. Is Chief here?
Okay. Well, someone will find that out for us and let me know. Okay.
They found a bill of sale that said something of Kramer. I don't know. Just kidding. That's just a joke. Bad
Okay, real quick with Pickwick and Aqua Bowl Lakes, we I just wanted to bring to the attention that we had an issue there. It was brought out that there was Pickwick Lake was drying up. We had seen that. In fact, I must credit Councilwoman Martell, who we went out there with her, looked at it, and that's what it looked like on the other side. We went out, we did some digging. Water started to flow. The lake started to fill up. It's not up to its capacity because, as you know, we're in a very, very dry season. But we're making a headway there. It's real good.
The lake is there.
The lake is there. We have a company called DGC that comes out and they spray for invasives on our 2 lakes. And they were last there on May 27th. They give us the report of what they find. Quickly on the other projects that we have, we had asked for additional stop signs in Eastern Shores. We spoke long and hard with the county. They value engineered it. The traffic engineers came out, and they said that they could not put up 4-way signs there, but instead that they'll be lowering the speed limit there from 30 to 25 miles an hour. We've done a lot of work on Hanford Boulevard to remove some of the issues that we have there, and we're still working on those. There's a roundabout in Ulita, which of course we decided on a contractor tonight. It passed on consent, so that's moving forward. And Northeast 6th Avenue project, just through the efforts of, Carlos is relentless in terms of his relationship with the FDOT folks, and we're proud to say that whereas the 6th Avenue project did not have landscape and irrigation before, the FDOT is going to be funding the landscaping and irrigation on that section of our city. Some in-house projects. We finished the painting in-house, the painting of the campus. We did the roofing project that's done as well, and we've been well tested. I think, though not as often as, though not as often. And we had some air quality issues at City Hall that we addressed. The LED lights, we were tasked with doing LED lights. Well, we got a company to come in and do a pilot for us. It's right where the mayor and council park, because it gives light to that area as well as to those going to the parking garage. Well, we're looking at the lumens. When the 40-year recertification was done, our lumens were below 1. It needs to be at 1. We had it measured last night, and we had lumens in up to 4.8. So we're looking very bright there, and it just tells us that we've got this pilot project. Now we move along to get the other areas within our city that are not safe, or that don't, or should be better lit rather. To get those done. Our 40-year recertification is moving real good. In most areas, we are 75%. In some areas, we're as much as 90%. And in these areas, we're talking about lighting. We're talking about we're talking about lighting, and we're talking about electric, yeah, I'm sorry.
Which buildings are undergoing the 40-year? Here?
This building and the several of the other buildings are more than 40 years old. There's several of them, but we're near substantial completion.
Listen,
so.
we know the building official in case you run into any jams.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
And I just wanted to say real quick, how do we get it done? We get it done through partnerships. We have a good network of friends, good agential relationships. We're adding the right personnel to the team, to this public works team. We work hard. We have some sister cities that they're just only a telephone call away that we can get things done. We have friends, some in high places who can help us, aid us, guide us in the right direction to get things done. And of course, your leadership. And I'm not just saying that because for the longest time in this city, a lot was not done. But finally, we're being told, yes, go ahead, do it. And we do appreciate that. Value engineering, we're taking that very seriously. We're not taking the first bid. We're not taking the lowest bid. We're seeing how best we can get things done in a cost-effective manner. And of course, the repurposing of resources, whether it's human resources or otherwise, we're doing that. And with that, I'd just like to thank you. And on behalf of my team, we're looking forward to continuing to serve North Miami Beach.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to make a couple of quick comments on I was making some notes as you were speaking, and I guess the first one I made a note is that so basically what you're telling me is that Thompson has the easy job, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, he does.
Madam Manager, Director Scott, I want to say thank you on behalf of everybody, because this is, when we talk about the tip of the spear, putting the money at the tip of the spear, doing the stuff that people are seeing, this is what it's about. I mean, this is stuff that some of these things somebody might look at it and say, well, that's a minor little thing. And it's not, because just like when we drive down the median and you see palm fronds down and they sit there for 12 days or something like that, those little things do make the difference on the impression of the city. Do the people care? And do they have pride in the city? And the stuff that you're doing here is pride in the city type of stuff. And this kind of success is contagious, not just from staff, but from, as you said, the neighbors. All of a sudden, we repaired the park. We did a little bit of stuff, and next thing you know, people are taking that pride that maybe had been misplaced in their front swale or in their yard and taking it from there. And also, you mentioned the word relentless, and I want to say thank you for that, because I think that in a lot of ways, maybe it's easy to fall into the trap of just, we asked and they said no. Well, I think that's the first answer you get from any time you ask. They always say no, because they don't want to have to deal with it. Well, we've got another priority, whatever. But us being relentless and no longer taking no for an answer is making a huge difference in this city. And I noticed that just happening all around in the different departments. When something comes up, we really are unleashing. I remember a long time ago writing a memo about this, about unleashing the solution-oriented culture that we wanted to unleash here. And obviously, we're seeing it. So I want to say thank you. It definitely is true that little hinges do swing big doors. And these little things are making a difference in the city. And I really look forward to seeing that continue, and we build on that success. It's that win streak that we've always talked about. Getting on that winning streak, that sustainable winning streak, and continuing it. So I want to say thank you on behalf of all the residents, because it is not going unnoticed. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay.
Thank you, Council. Thank you, Mayor.
There's just one more item. The permission to use the logo for FDOT.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
I guess it's going to die for a lack of second. Second, okay. It's moved and seconded to use the city logo for the FDOT District 6 Put It Down campaign. What are we putting down? The texting or something? Is that it? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, texting.
Oh, whoops.
Texting
All right.
and driving.
Moved and seconded to allow FDOT to use the city logo on their Put It Down campaign. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Okay. Is that it, Madam Manager?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can I know this is, I probably sound like a broken record on this, but I'm going to ask once again if there's any appetite in sorry, Mr. Attorney. This thing about approving the city seal, having to be done at the city council level. I forgot. Was that a ordinance thing or what? I forgot. How did this become about? Was it a resolution?
I'm told by the clerk that it's a reso.
The reso?
It's up to you.
I mean, I know I sound like a broken record on this. Yes.
It's actually in the Code of Ordinances. I had prepared something to amend it, but there was some division on the council as far as what needed to happen with it. But we have something in our office that's ready, and it can be tweaked.
Okay. I don't think it's something that we probably need a workshop on, and I don't know how my fellow colleagues feel about it, but I would love to propose that, and if you guys could just bring it forward, I'll sponsor it, and hopefully it'll get support. I just think that I just hate when we have to spend this time on something this trivial, but we'll see how it goes. So, anyway,
you want us to bring something?
I would bring it, and if it gets support, it gets support.
Okay.
I'll speak for it. I'll speak for it. Okay.
Right.
Mr. Attorney, your report, please.
Yeah, it's hard to follow Esmond. He's really a class act, and I got to tell you that a lot of the city attorneys around town get a lot of cases from people that fall on broken sidewalks and potholes and so on, unsafe conditions, lighting, etc. And I got to tell you, in the last year since I've been here, I can't remember any cases being brought to us due to those situations. It's all about clean and safe, and I think the staff is phenomenal, and they've worked very well with my department. So kudos to them. I have a long list of litigation matters. I'm not going to go into all the cases. Just generally, there are some cases that were settled for modest or nominal amounts. 2 personal injury cases settled for amounts far less than what the plaintiff was claiming. There's some forfeiture money that came in, some foreclosures and bankruptcies that the city was dismissed on all of those. And then finally, I notified you yesterday there's a federal class action lawsuit that has been filed against all cities that have a red light camera program. Motions were filed. Hearing took place before Judge Moreno in federal court a couple of weeks ago. The firm of Weiss Arota is representing the cities in those matters at no cost to the cities. And as soon as we know what the federal court does, we'll advise you, and we'll see what the future of the red light camera program is. It doesn't look good. There are a lot of judges that are throwing these tickets out throughout the state. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. We'll keep you informed. And that's about all I have.
Okay, thank you. Well, our next item is item 14.1. Councilwoman Spiegel, you had a discussion item?
I did. Thanks to my fellow council members and your wonderful support in our community and the tremendous amount of support we got this year. And even though with the money rolling in, we spent more and we enhanced it, we still managed to be like $5,400 in the black. There's like leftover money. And this is a COSW project, and many years ago, before I was the liaison, when John Patrick Julian was, and before that, we always sent 2 of the members to the national conference. And as the budget has gotten tighter, we've only sent 1 person in this year. I'm asking my fellow council members, since in essence we spent $1,400 of the $7,000 that the city allocated for the Heart Health Walk because we raised so much in donations, if we can send 2 of our members to the national conference this year. I think between airfare registration and whatever, we're looking at maybe $600.
So, may
Can I make a motion that?
Can I? Well,
or whatever.
Wait. Let her finish.
She did finish.
No. Okay. I guess I think we should have a motion
So we
with
can
some specifics or something, I guess, so that we
Okay.
have something, an actionable item here.
I move that this year the city authorize the expenditure for 2 members of the North Miami Beach Commission on the Status of Women to attend the national convention.
Second.
Okay.
May I ask? Okay.
Okay, now we can go to.
So,
discussion. Go
what is the total cost for the 2 of them?
Not each. It can't be $1,600.
Well, I
each.
remember it being $1,200 for one a few years ago.
I don't.
I can give you the exact numbers. I thought it was 1,600.
Truthfully, I don't know. It's been going through the manager's office.
Where's the convention?
Indiana this year, I think.
And when is it?
July.
Let's go one
Well,
at a time. You finish and then we'll.
Well,
go around.
right. So, so I think we need to find out, because if it is the 1,600 each, that's a lot of money. And I don't. What is your? Do we each have budgets for our different committees, or are we just deciding that we want to just spread, where the committees need it, let the money flow into what's being the most productive, or?
Well, no, we had a $7,000 budget for the Heart Walk, but in addition to that, there was fundraising. So we were close to $4,000 in the black after we did, everything, all the expenditures.
5,400.
Then we asked without the police number. But it was like
You would have to give that to me. The last number I saw was 5,400 in the black.
And the other question is just, I have to ask this, so it's not a comfortable, situation, but what do they bring, what does, I know one of them goes, what do they bring back from these conventions?
Ideas like the Heart Health Walk was an idea that was discussed and came back, and we started talking about how we could do it here, how we could implement it.
Because I know with multicultural, I went locally to Coral Springs and got some, I don't know if there's other local commissions on the status of women where maybe ideas can be gotten rather than traveling outside the state with, for that kind of money to produce that idea. So, I'm good for one. If it was 1,600, maybe for the 2, but. Well, it is what it is. So that's my discussion. That's how I feel. I'm not comfortable with sending 2 people outside, for that. I just think ideas can be gotten locally.
Okay. Anyone else? I've got a question. Okay, did we determine is it 1,600 times 2 or times 1, or we're still?
I don't
on
know.
that, right?
So.
I don't
Okay.
know. I thought it was
who are the members that we're sending? I don't even know who's on the.
Robbie Lulaudry goes every year, and this year, and I'd sent it to the manager, Andres Bernard wanted to go.
Andres Bernard, our employee?
Yes, who's also a very active member of the COSW, and I sent it to the manager for approval if there was funding for it to be an employee.
Okay.
I'm not advocating who would be the second person, but I really thought the registration was like $300 and the airfare is whatever it is, and they were going to share a hotel room, was my understanding. So I didn't think that it was going to be huge.
Okay.
To go.
My recollection, it was somewhere in the range of $1,400 to $1,600. I don't remember.
Each?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Somebody needed to have told me that.
Any other questions or anything?
The thing is if we're going to vote on it, we should know the number, is what I think. Because I've gone on those conventions. I stopped going when there became such a big issue about travel, and I always went by myself. And there was always so much to learn, but you make contacts. But if you send two people and it's duplicate learning, our budgets are always so tight. I don't know that that's really a prudent way to do it until we know the numbers. If the numbers are, $2,200 or $2,500, it's one thing. If it's $4,000, it's another.
Well, we had this event under budget, so I just wanted to let you know that. But do you want to?
Hold on. Let's finish. If anybody else, is there anybody else with anything? Because if not, each of the committees needs to do, I think, whatever's they feel is the right thing to do. My only concern here is Mr. Attorney, is it appropriate for an employee to be in that kind of situation? Because I mean, this could be I've got nothing obviously against this particular employee. It has nothing to do with the employee, but I'm more concerned about, is a committee supposed to, these employees are under the administration. This is a little weird to me. This seems like this could be, I mean, is the manager sending an employee somewhere to travel, or is this, I mean.
Well, ultimately, the city manager is responsible for staff, and you can certainly ask the city manager if she feels in her discretion that this is something that would be beneficial either to the committee or to the city. But I believe that in general it should not be the policy of the council to direct employees of the city to do anything. And while this may be a worthy event, I think ultimately it's her call, and it's not for you all to decide where people that are working under the administration should or shouldn't travel. In theory, that's the way it's supposed to work. I don't know how it has worked in the past.
He's right.
I don't know that you want to go through that slippery slope of inviting employees to do things without the manager's consent. Well,
that was, I guess, my main concern about this, because to be honest with you, if COSW thinks, that there's two people, and if I'm not so concerned about whether we're sending the one person or the two person, but I do think that I don't think a city board or us, I don't think we should be determining, or any city board should be determining that an employee is going to go to something, because that really should be, Madam Manager, that's your department. You've got to determine who's going somewhere and what, whether if they're taking time. I mean, that's up to you, who you send to what educational opportunities. So I don't mind supporting two people if that's what the will of the council is or whatever, but definitely not an employee going to something, and it has nothing to do with this particular employer or any employee. I don't think we should be directing that. I would leave that only at the discretion of the city manager feels that that's an appropriate trip, because that is definitely a slippery slope that could really get out of hand. And I've got a feeling that I know that there were a lot of problems in the past with the political, culture, if you will, a lot of meddling in the administration with employees, and I will not support anything that even gets close to that. So this would be one of those. So I would vote against it if it's these two names. If it's resident members that are non-employees, that's a different story. So that's it. That's all I got to say.
Maybe I think what we should do then is just give the manager a budget, and I think Councilman Spiegel, I don't want to speak for you, but you seemed a little surprised at that it might be $3,200 for both. So, I mean, is there a budget that you think, I mean, even though the money's, I know how budgets work, but just because the money's there, I don't think that means you spend it. I mean, it can be trickled into other things for the following year. So I personally don't agree with it. I mean, I agree for one to go. I would give a budget of at least with the 1,600 tops, but I'm almost positive. I remember us talking about this up here, and it was $1,200, and we agreed to that. I remember that distinctly. So why don't maybe she needs to set a budget, and then we can vote that way.
Well,
because she needs an answer. It's July.
We need to deal with that motion unless somebody wants to offer up an amendment.
Can I make a friendly amendment that for now we just send one person, and if the manager deems it appropriate or sees that the fees change, that it comes back to us. But I would like to make an amendment to send at least give the approval for one person to go. Right now, as it stands. So at least Councilwoman Spiegel has the ability to send at least one person.
So
they got to make reservations.
So you move to amend, in other words.
Yes.
Is that?
But she's already sending one person. Okay.
No, she's asking for.
Okay, no, she seconded. I'll tell you what. Listen, we'll deal with that. Your motion is to amend it that it's one person.
Yes.
I'll second that.
Okay, we got it seconded, so we'll just vote on that amendment that will amend the motion. If you're in favor of that, this is to amend the motion to send one person. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we're back to the motion, which is to send a member of the COSW. And I think I only took my one bite. So the only thing I would caution everybody, and I would hope that my colleagues would pay attention to this, is that I guess I'm speaking to the manager on this one. I don't support sending employees out on on these kind of things unless it's something that is educational, that is directed or coming through the regular chain of command. That's what I'm saying. I hope you guys will see it the same way, because it definitely would be a very, very, very bad precedent if we were to allow a board to start dictating where employees are going to go.
I concur.
I just wanted to be clear that the board wasn't dictating, and that before this was ever even placed on the agenda, the request from the COSW was sent directly to the manager for her to make a determination with regard to one of her employees.
Okay.
That was
okay. So it's in the manager's hands, in other words. Okay, got it. All right. So let's just. All right.
Can we just?
Yeah.
I'm going to ask my fellow council members to think about, since we're in the upcoming budget season, the last couple of years, the essay writing contest at the library, the prize money has been funded by those of us on the COSW by personally writing checks. This year, if there's some money in the budget, can maybe the city fund the prize money for the essay writing contest at the library? And that doesn't require a motion, just think about it, because
I don't think there'll be any problem with that. I'm pretty sure the administration had ears open on that one. So wait, we have a motion that we got to deal with. This is all right, but it's a motion to approve sending one person. That's the motion on the table. So everybody got that?
Yeah.
If you're in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay. COSW is taken care of, and that's it. Madam Clerk, please take the reports. I think they're going to be short.
Vice Mayor DeFilippo.
Good evening, residents, those here with us today, staff. I want to tell you the city continues to move in a positive direction. As you could see through the slides that Esmond Scott put before us, I remember over a year and a half ago we were cutting the ribbon on 163rd Street and about 21st for our first planting of our trees. And look at how beautiful it's come out as you go down the corridor. You see North Miami Beach and you wonder, is this really the city I'm going through? City is going through tremendous transformations, not only on 163rd Street, but on Miami Gardens Drive, and just about everywhere you go, you will see city employees out there digging, fixing, beautification, whatever it takes. These people are out there 6:30 in the morning. I wake up, sprinkler system testing. It's phenomenal, and it really takes a great team with a great leader. And I'm very proud of all of our staff working together in order to make North Miami Beach a better place for all of our residents to live, work, and enjoy. So I thank everybody in our staff for everything they do, from the people that dig the holes to the people that crunch the numbers to our management staff that leads them and guides them with the ideas. Anna, Mac, Richard, all of you three work so hard and diligently. As I pop in and out of the office daily, I see it's nonstop with what you're doing. And again, you know, it's just a fire that you can't imagine. And people see it, residents see it. I see it every day. And I think that North Miami Beach is moving forward by leaps and bounds. I thank our police department for bringing safety to our community, for keeping safety to our residents. You know, school is about to go out. Please, ladies and gentlemen, take care of your children. Make sure you get them in the after-school program here at NMB. It's fantastic. My son will be attending. And that being said, thank you very much. Have a great evening and be safe.
Councilwoman Kramer.
Thank you, everybody. And of course, I concur with everything my colleague just said. I'm certainly looking forward to this summer going through our budget, knowing that we really are moving by leaps and bounds, and really the monies from development haven't even gotten here. And we're doing some great stuff with what we have, and it's remarkable. It really is. You really have become the benchmark for the future of the city and who's going to lead it, and it's really appreciated. But what I really look forward to, besides all the city stuff, because I have another life, okay? I have a son that's graduating high school tomorrow, so I want to wish my son Jordan just good luck. Of course, we'll be there tomorrow, rooting you on. We're very excited. I can't believe my second child, that's it. I'm done with the public schools. But I'll still be involved, Miami-Dade County, don't you worry. So congratulations to Jordan. Thank you, everyone.
Councilwoman Smith.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry I haven't felt well, but if I didn't stay, they wouldn't have had a quorum and everybody would have had to go home. I want to thank Esmond Scott and Paulette Murphy and Carlos. Not only do you see the difference, but when you walk around that Snake Creek, there are hundreds of people that use it. And I'm telling you, you can go any night and see 20, 25 people skateboarding, riding their bikes, and just walking their dogs. It's just amazing. But I have a challenge for you guys, because I drove down every street in Highland Village, and I see how you colored 171st Street and 15th Avenue. Maybe you can put your heads together and do something to make Highland Village have such pride of ownership, whether it be just different colors, stripes on the road at each block, something to give where there's no land and they can't have a curb because they need that to park. But we have a challenge to make that area have some kind of beautification. And I challenge you with the manager to put our heads together and let's do something. And I do say to you that safety is of the utmost, not only for the speed, but also for the protection of burglaries in their homes. So with that, I want to thank the police department, and I want to tell them to keep up the good work, and let's work on the speed bumps. And I thank you all very much. The programs we're having here, I went to the programs for the children. Just amazing, amazing what we do, Miss Murphy, amazing how safe these kids are, and that you can give a kid self-confidence at 6 years old. So with that, I say to everybody, have a safe summer if you don't tune in next 2 weeks, and thank you very much.
Councilwoman Spiegel.
Good evening, everyone. Planning and zoning meeting Monday night, June 8th, 6 p.m. here in council chambers. And next Wednesday is recycling. With that, have a good night.
Mayor Vallejo.
All right. Actually, this is a really easy one. I just want to send out thank you to everybody on the staff. Thank you, Director Scott, for everything that you guys have been doing. It's definitely showing. Madam Manager, let's keep the snowball growing in that. The residents are noticing it. And I do want to say congratulations to Jordan, and I'll make sure to give him a big hug when he crosses the stage tomorrow there. And lastly, I do want to say several of my colleagues mentioned thank yous to the police department. I want to echo that and say thank you to the members that are out there. But I do have a question, and maybe you guys have an update as far as when are we expecting that actuarial report to come back that we've, the one that we commissioned. That should be coming back any day now, right?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I sent an email to Director Amberson to give us the latest update. We should be getting it within the next week or so.
Okay. I mean, we definitely, that is apparently one of the last pieces in the puzzle for us to hopefully, what would really help the most for our residents out there is if we can finish this negotiation, get this contract done. We're so close. If we can get this thing done, that will go a really, really long way towards, making sure that our officers have the certainty of what their benefits are, and give us the clarity of our budget going forward for the next several years, plus finally get us onto that sustainable track with our pension, and that will give not only everybody the city the sustainable financial track, but it also give the police chief what he needs in order to recruit and retain the best officers and be able to continue to expand it as we've been as one of our priorities. So I'm really looking forward to that. And other than that, I just want to say to everyone, all the kids out there, happy summer, enjoy your summer, and please be safe, stay out of trouble, be safe out there. And with that said, guys, we'll see you in 2 weeks on June 16th. And is there a second?
Learn to swim.
That's not too excited about adjourning. All in favor? Aye. We're adjourned. Good night, everybody. Thank you.